Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my speaking skills series. We're doing class 15, where we're going to pick up with the activity we started last time. Hopefully some of you had a chance to work on it. I'll go over that in just a moment. First, a little bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Like right now would be a good time. In fact, I'll help you to do that right now, because I'm just going to mute you, Mateus. Okay. Also, let's mute you as well. Okay. So keep the microphone off so we can keep the classroom quiet, and when you're ready to speak, you can turn it back on. Rule number 2, tune in to the new words that you're going to learn and use them as actively as possible so that I can correct you. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that's a little bit about me. Before we jump right into it, let's see if we can get the window closed a little bit, or you're not going to be able to see me. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Before we jump into it, I'd like to know a little bit about you. First, welcome back, Carmen. Nice to see you. How are you?
Hi, John. How are you? I'm fine.
Good, very good. Let's say hello to, let's see, Mateus. I think you were the second one in here. Can I say hello to you, Mateus? Click your microphone button now. You can turn it back on. Okay, I don't hear Mateus. Let's say hello to Victor. Welcome back, Victor.
Hi, John.
Can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. And you?
Wonderful. Oh, that's even better than good.
Yes.
Let's say hello to Mateus. I think I heard him in the background there. Hi, Mateus.
Hi, I'm good.
Where are you from, Mateus?
I'm from Brazil.
From Brazil. Bem-vindo
Yeah.
à aula, Mateus.
What?
Bem-vindo.
Obrigado. Muito obrigado.
It's got to be very early in the morning in Brazil. What time is it?
Yeah, it's 6 a.m.
6
in
a.m.
Brazil.
You should be asleep, Mateus.
No, I
Go
don't
back
feel like sleeping right now.
Go back to sleep. It's too early. Too early. Let's say hello to Zuli. Hello, Zuli.
Hello, John. Hello, everyone.
Am I saying your name right?
Yes, it's Zuli. Really, it's Zulima, but everyone calls me Zuli.
Zulima. Is that right?
Yes, okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Spain, from Madrid.
From Madrid. Oh, okay.
My name is Arabic.
Yes, that's what I was trying to figure out. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Nice to have you here. And welcome back, Raphael. How are you?
Pretty fine, thank you.
Very good. And, of course, the famous, esteemed super student, Yuki. Hello, Yuki. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine, thank you. How are
All
you?
right. Very, very good. Listen up, everyone. I want to share something with you. First of all, I gave you the link to our notes. In case you don't see it, I'll post it for you again right now in the chat window. And you can open this or download it by clicking on the link in the chat window. Last week, as we were doing some new people were doing a self-introduction. We were working on speaking skills for presenting who you are, your CV, your background, that kind of thing. And as we were doing this, I created a mind map of some of the key expressions. So I put a screenshot of the mind map there, but I've been working on it. So I want to show you maybe a more elaborate version of what we did. So I'm going to share my screen. See if I can get this. Hold on a second. Do I want to do that? Nope, wrong one. That's not it. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Give me a second. This is it. Take a look on screen. All right, it's a little small, but I can put a link to this. I'm going to save a copy of this in Google Drive. But let me show you how it works very quickly. Last week, I had a set of pictures, and we were going to work on speaking skills for describing things. But as I mentioned, when you go to take an international test, you often have to break the ice, to talk about who you are, what your interests are, what you do. So we started there. By the way, just make sure everyone, you've got your Verbling window closed in the background. Close everything except the Hangout. And make sure you're wearing headphones too, okay? Because I'm hearing an echo in the background. So, Zuli, I'm just going to mute you temporarily. When you're ready to speak, you can turn your microphone back on, because I think I'm getting a feedback from yours, or an echo on your side, okay? So make sure you've got the Verbling window closed and you're wearing headphones so we can cut down on the echo. Okay, so look, take a look at this mind map. I'll share this with you after class, and I'll put this on screen when we're going to use it. But take a look how this works. We've got some basic ways to connect ideas. And we call those, or I like to call those, the fanboys. Fanboys is an acronym. An acronym is a word which is made up of other words. So F is for, A is for and, N is for nor, B is for but, fanboys, O is for or, Y is for yet, and S is for so. And then at the bottom, let me move this down a little bit. At the bottom, oh, it's not going to let me move this down. Okay, I can't move this exactly the way I like. Let me move this over here. Oh, it's not letting me play with my time connector. Why is that? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Let me move these on to the left. Okay, those are not just basic words, for and nor, but or yet so. They're also some of the basic categories in any language, the logical connections, the way you can connect sentences, words in a sentence together. We call them conjunctions. And they're almost the same in every language. We have the same, no, they are the same in every language. Every language you can say but. Every language you can say and. So those basic words are categories which you can see on screen. And, for example, is addition. So I'll open that up. But is contrast. I'll open that up. For is just like the word because, so you can remember, cause. In fact, it can express cause or purpose. Nor and or are one way to make a basic comparison. One way. So is for conclusion. And yet is a concession, when you give up something in favor of something else. I did it, yet I didn't want to. Okay? So what we did is take those connective words and we use that as the basic way to think about linking ideas together, and then we started to add more complex connectors, always linking them back to the basic ones. So here's a quick example. For cause, well, look at this. We got a simple and a more complex, or I put compound, meaning two words, way of expressing cause. The one that you probably know is because. But we've got a few others. Since. Let's take a sentence. I did it because I wanted to. You can replace because I wanted to with any of those connectors. For example, I did it since I wanted to. I did it as I wanted to. Means the same as because. Now. Well, maybe we want to say now that. So I would actually move that down to compound, because it's got more than one word. Ing. We can use a gerund. Being that I wanted to do it, I did it. Okay, it doesn't sound great, but you get the idea. In context, with a different set of words, it would sound fine. I'm using being that. You don't have to say being. Any kind of gerund, ing word could work, like seeing. Let's put that over here. Oops, let me move that. There we go. Seeing that. My map is not cooperating. Okay, but they should be together. Okay, so it just gives you an example of how we can use these basic connectors, and by linking the more complex ones back to the basic fanboys, we sound maybe a little bit more sophisticated. We have to use them sparingly, because the high frequency words, the ones we use all the time, are for no, but, or, yet, so. Okay, but in context, we can use others. And also, it's good so that when you're listening to someone or you're reading a text, you always know more or less where you are. On the other side, we've got time connectors like before, after, during, etc. And I added one more little category here, discourse markers. That's how you connect ideas together, not in a sentence, but in a speech, in an extended text, when you're writing or when you're speaking. Okay, and let me just show you one example. To give context, when you're going to begin talking about something, you might begin with the first word out of your mouth in any language, well, or in Portuguese, bem, or bueno, or alora, or any of those words. So it shows that you're about to speak. And last week, we looked at a few examples of what you can say afterwards. Well, to begin with. And then you give a little bit of information before you talk about the main topic. Information necessary for the person to understand what you're going to say. Background information. Well, to begin with, although I'm American, I live in Europe. I should start by saying that even though I was born in America, I'm currently living and working in Europe. Well, just to start, I'm an American who's living in Europe. Well, let me first say that I'm living in Europe even though I was born in America. Well, let me begin by saying, okay, you get the idea. So I'm making a little map of some of the key expressions that you can use. I'll share this with you in Google Docs. For now, I'm just going to put it on the screen, okay? Okay, sorry for the long speech, but I just want to give you an idea of how that works, and now we're going to try it out. So you'll notice in our speaking skills document, which I'll also share on screen just for a second, then I'm going to ask you to open it, because if I share it in my browser, then I can't see you. But I'll share it just for a minute so you can see where we are, okay? So if you open that link, you'll see this graphic for speaking skills. Some of you have it open already. That's a guy at a podium speaking. And for some reason, the podium plugs directly into his heart. He must be speaking from the heart, I guess. Okay, we've got my contact there. News, there's no news today. You've got the link to all the classes we've done so far. The last one being on the 14th. So I'm going to add a new class today. This is class 15. And we're going to pick up where we left off. Oh, is this 14th to 21st? Actually, no. We're not going to add a new class because we're still working on the last project we did. I'll show you in a second. Today is, I believe, the 28th. Let me see, is that right? Yeah, 28th. Okay, so in the last class, for new people, I had you discuss the topics that normally come up in small talk. Your name, where you're from, maybe where you live now, if you're from a different place, what you do, your interests, and then finish up by summarizing the main points. And I had you use the mind map to do that. So if you're new, you can do this right now. I'll put the mind map on screen. I'll give you an example, and you can try it out. Then I'll give you some feedback, and you can use that feedback to write out your answer, send it to me, and I'll correct it. Okay, so I'll give people a chance to do that, and then we're going to move on. So this is the mind map we had. I'm going to get rid of that because I'm going to give you a better copy of it. So let me erase that. And then we're going to move on to another activity. We're going to do something that comes up in exams all the time, but it's also a good way to develop speaking skills, which is look at a set of pictures, find what's common, what's different, compare and contrast them, be able to talk about the theme. So we'll do that in the second part, and I'll give you a little technique for that as well, one that we've looked at in other classes, but I'll make it very explicit here. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, I need to stop sharing my screen so I can see you all. And what I'd like you to do is, if you're new, I'd like you to try out using those topics and the mind map to do a little introduction, a very short introduction. And I'll give you an example, okay? So let me put my mind map back on screen. And we're going to get started right now. Hopefully you can see it. No, it's not working. Hold on. Now is the part of the class where I cannot share my screen. 1 second. Okay. Looks like it's working. All right. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I can make this much bigger, but I'll try. Let's see if I can. There we go. All right. So what I'm going to show you is, first, the context, giving context. I'm going to give you an example using myself. Then I'm going to turn it over to you to try this in a very spontaneous way. Okay? All you need to do is look at the topics on page 4 of our shared notes, look at the context connectors that I'm showing you on screen, and you can begin by choosing one of those and then move on using the other connectors. I'll show you how it's done. So for example, well, to begin with, I'm an American living and working in Europe. Let me move over now. I'm going to add information. So I go over to Addition, and I open my AND connector, and look what I have. I've got some AND words like also and as well, and I can add more. I will add more as we do this. But I also have conditionals, would, could, should, might. So if I want to give more information, I could pick a conditional word and add any synonym of the word to speak, like say, or tell you, mention, add, point out. So let's start from the beginning. Well, to begin with, I'm an American who's living and working in Europe. I suppose I should mention that I originally came here on vacation, but I ended up liking it and staying. So it's been the longest vacation of my life. More than 10 years on vacation. Actually, I guess it's not a vacation anymore. I just live here in Portugal. I could also say, I should also point out that I'm a teacher, and I work both in a traditional classroom and online. So those are some examples of giving background information and then adding new information about what I do. In page 4, besides my name, I didn't talk about my name, did I? That's the first thing I should say. Besides my name, where I'm from, where I currently live, and what I do, I probably need to talk about my interests. Okay? So going back to my map, well, I might also point out that I have a strong interest in using technology for pedagogical purposes. I think what you can do with free, abundant technology today is interesting, possibly superior to the way we used to teach in the past. We can reach more people from all over the world, have a better classroom experience, and personalize teaching and learning. So it really interests me to develop things in that area. I don't have any contrast connectors, but let's see if I can add one right now to give you an example. See if it lets me. Hold on. Okay. Oh, it's not going to let me. Okay, I don't know how to add things. I'm just going to type it here. Contrast connectors. Here's an example. A good one. Despite and in spite of. These are two contrast connectors. Let me add them to our but. Okay. So I might want to say something that's different or contrasts with something I said earlier. So, in spite of the fact that it takes a while to learn how to use technology, I think the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages. So I added a contrast connector to add new information, but something that says something new, something different than before. Okay, and then I need to finish this by giving a little summary. That's the last thing you saw on page 4. So the conclusion usually begins with so, the conclusion to whatever we say. Anything you say after so will sound pretty good. So let me open my so words, and I've got 3 choices so far. To sum up, to conclude, and in a nutshell. So we've actually got 2 things here. We've got concluding and summarizing. I should actually make that explicit. But anyway, for now, I'll just tell you. Later on, I'll update the map. So 2 ways to summarize and 1 way to conclude. So I might say, now what I need to say here is the most important thing, the thing that I want you to remember from everything I said before. So I might say, so in a nutshell, I'm an American teacher living in Europe with a strong interest in pedagogical technology, teaching technology. And that's a bit about me. Okay? And maybe, where can I add that's a bit about me? Oh, I'll just add it here. It's good enough. And that's a bit about me. Okay. So I'll put that here just to show you that it's a good way to finish up. All right, so what I'm going to do here is turn it over to you to try the same thing, and I'll be there to help you. Okay, so we're going to spend a few minutes, give 1 or 2 people a chance to do their introduction, and then we're going to turn it over to the other task I was showing you, and I'll give you a quick way to do that as well. So that way we can add some new vocabulary as well, not just these connectors. Okay? So let's turn it over to you. First of all, does anyone want to give it a shot? Anyone want to try it? Any courageous people want to volunteer using what I said as a model?
Maybe I'll try.
Go for it. Go for it.
As
But
far as
just before you start, can you see the mind map okay, or is it too small, Yuki?
what can I should talk about? About me?
On page 4 of the notes, in the speaking skills notes, where it says
About
class,
the picture, yeah.
on page 4, no, page 4, it says class 14 to 28 of May, and then you've got those topics: name, where from, currently live, what I do, my interests, and summary. Do you see it? Page 4 of the notes. Let me share this.
Sorry, John, could you, well, nothing. I mean, in the other document, that scan document, could you scroll down a little bit, because the up part, it is not getting inside the screen.
Hang on 1 second.
Oh, I found it. Okay.
You see where we are on page 4?
Okay.
So what I did is look at those topics. What I said, I didn't say my name because I forgot, but I mentioned where I was from, where I live now, what I do, and I mentioned one of my interests. Then I summarized everything in 1 concise sentence. So I'm an American living in New York with an interest in technology in education, something like that. Okay? So those are the topics. I'm going to keep the mind map on screen because I don't have an easy way to share it with you right now. Okay, so see, I should never share my screen because then I can't undo it. Hold on a second. I should never share my Google Docs with you. Never. Remind me never to do that again. Because now I'm stuck. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this. Nope. Nope. Absolutely stuck. I can't do it. Let me try one more time. It'll work eventually, but I just have to do this crazy thing where I download another app and then turn it off, and usually whatever the stuck, it gets unstuck usually. Hold on. Let's see if I can cancel this. And okay, looks like it's working now. You can see me, right?
Yes, I see you.
All right. So now I should be able to share the mind map again. Okay. All right. And Carmen, what were you saying about what do you want me to do with the map so you can see it better? Make
you
it
scroll
bigger
down
or what?
No, scroll down.
Like this?
A little bit more. Yeah, that's complete. No, not that much. It's like in the middle.
Like this?
Yeah. Thank you.
That's strange, but isn't that too far down?
No, seems like your upper part of the screen, actually when I can see your face, I can't see your eyes. You have
Really?
kind of framed in a very horizontal way your screen. I don't know why.
It's not me.
On my screen of a computer, it is normal. I think press it.
I can see it perfect too, but would
yeah,
you
maybe
please just zoom in on that map because I can't see the letter clearly.
I'll try to make it. I can't zoom in, but I can make it bigger. But the problem there is just that. Well, look, next time I'll give you a copy of this. There's no way for me to do it right now. So what I'll do is I'll zoom in, and what I'll do is move around the map as you speak, right, so that you can see some of the keywords. I think it's the only way I can do it. And then later, after class, I'll upload this to Google Docs so you can open it on your computer. I just can't do it right now.
I can see it clearly.
Okay. All right. So Yuki, if you want to give it a shot, go for it. But keep it short. We're gonna try to keep this to about 30 seconds. So I'd like to hear 2 or 3 people if we can try. Okay? Try to use those keywords.
Okay. As far as what I can tell about myself goes, well, I should start by saying my name. My name is Yuki. I'm from Japan, but I can see the old map. So
no, but just tell me where to move, and I'll move it.
Enlarge.
No, but just tell me where to move.
It was better before. Oh, okay.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah,
there
I think you should zoom out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's better. It's good. Okay. Currently, I live about. In spite of, but I currently I live in Moscow, in Russia.
Okay, wait. In spite of being from Japan.
In spite of being from Japan, I currently live in Moscow, in Russia. I could also add that now I'm teaching Japanese here to Russian students. I might mention as well that I might mention I work as a translator as well, Russian Japanese. And on the interesting side note, I would mention that my interest is learning languages. I have learned Russian, English, Korean, Bulgarian, and so on. And that my hobby give me great pleasure. So in a nutshell, I'm enjoying the life here in Russia, and that a bit about my life. Thank you.
Yay! It's a round of applause, Yuki. Can you hear me clapping?
Yes.
Everyone else has their microphones muted. That's why you can't hear them clapping. Listen, very good. Good and very brave, of course. That's why you're the super student. Yuki, I want to give you, let me see, 3 pieces of feedback. First, the conclusion. Try to restate the thing you want us to remember the most. So when you say, so in a nutshell, I'm enjoying life here, that's fine, you can say that. But before you say that, what's the thing you want us to remember? What's the takeaway from what you said?
So in a nutshell, that's a bit about what I'm doing. I can
sure.
What I can tell about myself. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I would add one thing though. I would say, so in a nutshell, I'm a Japanese. Well, you can say your occupation or one. I'm a Japanese teacher and
live in Russia. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a bit about what I can say about myself or something like that. Yeah, I would just add something.
The summing up. So
exactly. Right.
I should repeat what I said. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, just the main point. Okay, and let's add now the 2 other pieces of feedback I wanted to give are really for the rest of you. So he said 2 things which we should add to the map. He said, as far as something X, Y, or Z goes. Okay, that's good. That's very good. So let's add it. We'll add it to the context. So it's a great way to start. Let's put that over here. As far...
That's what I learned from you before in this.
I know, and I totally forgot about it. So let's add it. As far as X, Y, or Z goes. X, Y, or Z is whatever the question that you're answering is. So if the question is, who are you? You could say, as far as who I am goes, if the question is, what do you do? As far as what I do goes, you can incorporate the question you're being asked into the answer, even if no one asks it, right? It's just a way to begin. So it's a good technique that gives you a little time to think. So we'll put it over there, as far as X, Y, or Z goes. And you said also, as an interesting side note, that sounds good too. I'm not sure where to put it though. And that's an aside. That's kind of adding information. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can put that. I don't know. Maybe we'll put it over here for now. Later, maybe we'll put it somewhere else.
Adding the information or transition.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll put it over here. As then you can add your adjective you like. Side notes. Okay, so we'll add that. Okay, so now what you do, if you want, it's up to you, but if you want, think about my feedback, write it as a text, and send it to me through the message system in Verbling. I'll correct it and send it back. Okay, that goes for everyone. Anyone else want to give it a try? Any volunteers? If not, we're going to move on to another task. Anyone else want to try?
Yeah, I would like
to. Go
to.
for it.
My name is Rafa. I'm, as far as I can remember right now, I was born here in Madrid, in the capital of Spain, and I began to study in a public college. For this reason, I go to the university very early and begin to study engineering, but I couldn't finish my studies as engineering, and I changed gears and tried to be psychologist. I earned my degree in psychology, and for this reason, I could work as psychologist. Another connector. Moreover, in addition to this, I began to work as psychologist. Right now, I'm trying to be retiring, because I've been working for a long time, and I try to be retired as early as I could. That's all.
Okay, very good. So listen, Raphael.
Yeah.
If you were going to summarize that with a "so" connector,
yeah,
what's the most important thing you want us to remember?
Yeah. So.
So to sum up, so in a nutshell, so to conclude.
Yeah. So trying to summarize what I'm telling you, my life is right now only thinking in how to be retired, a retired people enjoying life and learning English. That's all.
Okay, good. Let me rephrase that for you. Listen to how I would say it. You don't have to say it the way I say it, but let me just give you an example so you can hear a native speaker. So, to sum up, I'm a Spanish psychologist looking for a way to retire early and just enjoy life. And that's a bit about me. Because I wanted to say one or two important things that you brought up. So I said where you're from, what you do or what you did, and then added what you said at the end. So it's not that you have to say it like that, but what I want you to get in the habit of is this way of quickly summarizing the most important thing. It's a great skill, especially if you ever want to take an international test, like the Business English Certificate or the TOEFL or any of those things. Okay, the only thing I would say, Raphael, is I would say that I added two connectors that you brought up, moreover, which is a little bit formal, so we want to be careful with it. So I'm going to put a little F for formal, and in addition to that. So I added those. I would just say that when you're using transitions, you might want to use those conditional words, not all the time, but maybe a little bit more. Maybe just once, and then you can use and. For example, the first time you add information, you might want to say, well, I suppose I should mention as well, or I might want to point out, or I might also say, or something like that. You don't have to overuse them, but maybe in the beginning to make a clear transition. And also for both you and Yuki, when you use a context connector, it's to give information that's relevant to what you're going to say. So I wouldn't use a context connector to say my name. Like, well, to begin with, I should tell you my name. My name is Jon-Eric. I wouldn't use it like that. I would use it like this. Well, to begin with, although I'm an American.
Stupid, yeah?
Well, it's just that you're putting more emphasis than you need to.
Yes.
So you should put, well, you're doing it spontaneously, so you don't. We're just practicing here. Nothing sounds stupid. We're just practicing. But what I would do is give the background information that will give the right tone or color what you're going to say to prepare people for the most important thing. And then in the end, I'd summarize the most important thing. So for me, maybe the most important thing is that since I'm online, right, I'm an American native speaker. Maybe that's important because you know me as a teacher and you want a native speaker, maybe. I don't know. So I would say, well, I should start by saying that I'm an American from New York, but I've been living in Portugal for a long time. In fact, I've lived in a bunch of countries in Europe, moved around, and now I'm currently in Portugal. Oh, I could also say that I have kind of an unusual name because it's two names. See, I'm just adding more information now. I could also say. But I would maybe add the most important context information with one of those. Well, to begin with, well, I should start by saying, well, just to start one of those. Okay? So, Raphael, again, I invite you to take some of my feedback and what you said spontaneously, write it as a text, send it to me, I'll correct it and send it back to you. You can do it by just copying and pasting into the message service in Verbling. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I think I should try.
I think you should try too.
Okay.
And remember, all the points that you need to touch on are on page 4 of the notes, and the connectors are in front of you, whether or not you can see them. I don't know if you can see the mind map, but give it a try, and I'll step in to help if you need it, okay?
Okay. I should start by saying that my name is Carmen.
Wait. Hang on a second. Wait. Let me step in there.
Oh my God.
What? Wait. Give us a little background first. What's something that's important for us to know before we know about you?
Oh,
like
before
in my
you
case,
know.
you don't have to copy me, but in my... yeah.
Oh.
What would help us understand what you're going to say? For example, with Yuki, although he's Japanese, he's now based in Moscow.
Maybe firstly, I should say, hello, I'm Yuki. As far as it goes, so on, yeah. So my name is it take for granted information. So,
yeah, you can.
So yeah.
It's absolutely fine. Yeah. What we're doing here is a little more artificial, so I want to force you to say things in a different way.
I should start by saying where I am from. Yeah.
Right, but don't say I should start by saying where I'm from. You can, but I would say I should start by saying I'm from Japan. No, don't announce. Just go right into it. So Carmen, try that. Why don't you give us a little background information by starting with where you're from?
Okay.
Just to give it a shot.
Okay. So let me first begin by saying that I'm an English student, and it's a pleasure for me to be in this class. My name is Carmen. I'm from Spain, and I currently live in Granada.
Is that where you're from originally?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So now look at your AND connectors.
Okay. In spite of. Okay. Lost. Okay. Yeah. I'm here. Back. Okay.
So I might start with. Well, I should mention, or I could point out, or I might also say, or I might begin by, or I mean, use one of those conditional words. It's a good way to bring up a new topic.
Conditional.
See what I mean? Yeah, would, could, should, might, and any synonym for the word to say. To say, to tell you, to mention, to add, to point out. Well, you're not... Yeah, any of those is fine. So that would be a good way to bring up a new topic. And your new topic could be what you do or what your interests are.
I might mention that I'm a filmmaker. I make documentary short films, and also I am an illustrator and an editor as well. Okay. My interests are everything that has to do with arts and literature. In spite of, I'm forced to.
In spite of being forced to.
In spite of being forced to earn my life in many other ways.
Tell me about it. We're all on the same boat.
Nothing to do with all these beautiful things. Okay.
Do you know that I went to film school originally, Carmen?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
That's what qualified me to become an English teacher.
Yeah. So, in summary.
So to sum up. So to sum up.
So to sum up, I can say I'm a creative person trying to find a job, and that's a bit about me.
Okay, very good, very good. Remember, Carmen, Raphael and Yuki have been with me for a long time, so they've had a little more practice with this, right? So you're just getting started. So the first time you do it, it feels a little awkward, and it should. It shouldn't feel awkward because this is an artificial, very artificial way to put your ideas together. But it forces you to think in a different way, so it's a good exercise. Okay?
Yeah, completely.
Now, the only I'd like to make a few changes, but I think no, not completely. It's not bad. I'd like to make a few changes, but I think what you ought to do is write it out so I can correct it, because it'll be easier to see what I have to say. For example, here's one change I would make. First of all Latin language speakers, particularly Spanish speakers, tend to add the word can when in English it's not necessary, right? So instead of saying, for example, if we're looking at pictures, Spanish speakers tend to say, well, not just Spanish, but in Portugal they do it as well. Well, I can see a guy in the picture and he's wearing a hat. But in English we should say, I see a guy in the picture and he's wearing a hat. So it's just it's a literal translation from Spanish. So at the end, I think you threw in a can that we didn't need. I don't remember exactly what you say. I think you was something about it was in the conclusion, I think. I can't remember. So that's one point to keep in mind in general. And also the way you use despite. Notice we had to use a gerund, an ing form, despite being forced. And when you say a contrast, it's good to start the sentence with the contrast. So I might, or start that part. So I might say, well, despite being forced to earn my living in another way, I have a strong interest in the arts. In fact, I'm a filmmaker and illustrator, and I work on documentary shorts.
Oh, that sounds so good. Yeah, I should have said that.
That's what you said. All I did was put it in a different order. It's exactly what you said. I added the being, because after despite and in spite of, we had a gerund, and I just moved it to the front. But it's exactly what you said. So I just arranged it for you. One more point. When you say editor, do you mean film editor?
Video editor, yeah.
Okay, fine. Because editor, because in Portuguese you have editora, which translates as publisher.
Oh, no.
Right, okay. Okay, good. So think about that feedback, write it as a text, send it me through the chat service. I'll try to correct it. By the way, I'm not saying I'm going to have these corrected fast. I'm really, really busy this week, but eventually I will. So, for example, Ishmael sent me something on Facebook, and I think that I totally forgot about it. I'm just remembering now. It's easier if you send it to me through the message service in Verbling, because I'll see it right away. If it's any other place, especially Facebook, I never open Facebook, I might miss it. So I think it was Ishmael. Okay, so keep that in mind, everyone. What about the rest of you? Do you want to try this on your own? For example, Islam and Mateus and Victor want to try this on your own? We don't have time now to do the speaking in class, but what do you think?
I believe it's really complicated for me. I don't believe that I can do it.
Of course you can do it. Of course you can.
Oh, come on.
Believe in yourself. Look,
I can't follow the map, you know, it seems tricky for me, you know. I can introduce myself, there I get. You want maybe the map is like a way to introduce myself, and in conclusion give a you know, like a brief sentence about me, but
that's right. But listen, you don't have to start with the map. What you can do is, in the speaking skills document, the one I shared, you see those topics: name, where from, currently live. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. There's another way to do this, which is start with those and say something about each topic. And afterwards, then go to the map and try to arrange it. In other words, get your ideas out first and then see if you can connect them together. So think about each of those as a question. Who are you is your name. Where are you from? Where do you currently live? What do you do? What are some of your interests? Answer each of those singularly, apart from all the others. Answer each of those one at a time in a simple way, and then you try to connect them together using the map. In fact, I'll do it for you if you want. If you give me the information, I'll do it for you. Right?
Okay, it would be great if you can help me.
Okay, so then do that. Turn them into questions. Answer the questions. Don't, keep it short though, because this is just a brief introduction. Send it to me if you'd like. You can try to use the map. If you're not sure how to use it, forget it, and I'll try to give you an example. I have no idea when I'll be able to do it, but certainly before next Wednesday, I'll be able to do it for sure. Okay, so that will give you a model. All right, I'm going to start the business class now, so I'm going to end this. I'm going to upload my map to Google Docs, make a copy, put a link to it in our shared speaking skills document so that you can open it at home. Okay, I'll do that after, not now, but after the next class, and that way you can take a look. Okay, and don't forget, anyone who didn't speak today, send me your text if you'd like to write it, and you will absolutely have time in the next class. Just let me know. You'll absolutely have time in the next class to do it, particularly if I've corrected you. Okay. So I'll be back in a minute for the business class. We're completing our unit on job performance, and we're doing a big role play today. Okay, see you soon. Bye for now, everyone.
See you.
Okay.
Bye, thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care, Ashil.